Good afternoon. Welcome to Baptist Easley. This is something we've been working on for a while, and I am so happy to see this group. And it's nice to see some familiar faces, the Cindy's and Chris's, and it's awesome. So thank y'all, and some new faces. We had a vision to try to improve some of our managers and some of our emerging leaders, because we've got great managers, we have fantastic managers, but management's something that's always evolving, and no matter how good you are as a manager, there's always something else to learn to expand what you can do. And we've got a great partner in Southern Wesleyan. Baptist Easley and Southern Wesleyan are very closely related, and we've developed an MBA in healthcare with them, which has been a great success so far. They have Master's of Science in Management and Leadership. So we have all this great management knowledge, and we've kicked around about how we could try to join those two up without getting everybody an MBA. Southern Wesleyan suggested everybody get an MBA, so we decided that was a good idea, but we probably couldn't get there. We could try. So we decided to come up with this brown bag series. So it's simply as it says. You bring your lunch, we give you some tea and water, and we have experts in the area that they're talking about. We talk for about 20 minutes, and then 20 minutes of discussion. And I think the value really is going to be in the discussion. So we have people that have different backgrounds. This isn't designed for the medical office or for the floor manager. We've got representation from businesses. We've got nonprofit with Toby and Chris. So it's going to be very different perspectives. So I think it's going to be very interesting. We are going to send out a survey questionnaire afterwards. So please give us feedback. This is the first time. I know that we're not going to do everything perfectly right. Please give us suggestions on how to improve and suggestions on topics. We are going to have a 24-month cycle, and we've got a tentative schedule for the 24 months, once a month. The next one is on FMLA. We're bringing an attorney that litigates FMLA that many of you know. She's fantastic. Everybody wants to come to the FMLA talk, so make sure you do register, please. And thank you for allowing us to register through the Chamber of Commerce. And then the Chamber's been a great partner too, and I think we're getting closer with them, and we love working with them. So if you've got some suggestions and it's different than what we've got, we'll see if we can incorporate them. We'll work on the PR material. We'll get you a list of the topics as they're firmed up, so you know when to send people. So, any questions before we get started? So we're going to start with my friend Raul Chavez, one of the professors at Southern Wesleyan, and he's. This is a topic I wasn't even in favor of until he started telling me about it. And after he told me about it, I was like, heck yeah, make that the first one. So I'm going to turn it over to him.
There you go. Well, welcome again. I'm so thrilled to be the very first speaker. Is my voice okay? Can you hear me though? I just realized that it's just for the camera, so it's going to be a cappella. So let me know if you can hear me well, okay? One of the reasons why I thought that would be interesting for us to start with management is because of my own personal experience. I started as an engineer, and as an engineer, I was asked to manage people. Makes sense that suddenly you get a title, you're a manager, and then I was wondering, what is management, right? So later on, I had the opportunity to get a master's in project management, so I was getting a little bit of a sense of what is really to be an administrator, an effective administrator, an effective manager. When I got into my doctorate, needless to say, I was so interested that it was all about business this time. So I learned from my own experience that there are certain skills that is going to really help you becoming a better manager and bring added value to your organization and also your own professional life. Make sense? So what are those things that are part of what we call management, so you don't have to take a whole semester length to teach management? So I'm going to try to do that in 20 minutes. And at the same time, wish me luck, and at the same time, I'm going to add very specific managerial skills that management today is going to be asking for. Make sense? So it's going to be a combo of the two. And the idea is for me to go over this quickly, within 20 minutes, so we have plenty of time to interact, right? You say at lunch, so it's not formal, I hope, just relax, enjoy your lunch. I am pretty relaxed too. And you're going to find the slides right here, so you can write your questions, your notes, everything's there, so we can use our time properly. And please enjoy your lunch and relax. Very good. First of all, what is management? There are four key areas of management, four. And this pretty much accepted. Me coming from the industry, I tend to always double check and make sure that these are the things that we do apply as a consultant, as a practitioner, and also as a academic. Now, those are the four areas of management: staffing and organizing, leading, planning, and controlling. And trust me, all these three of these four have to work together. Make sense? They do. And when we are trained on site, and sometimes even when we teach management, sometimes few of them may be missing, right? And if you don't have a strong skills and knowledge from all four, you may be also missing very important knowledge and practice for you to becoming a more efficient manager. The second, please. That one. Excellent. Penguins were the penguins' fault. That makes sense. All right. So what is staffing? Many of you will probably be more familiar to this one, right? How to staff, how to organize. We have organizational development as a key area that you should know. Organizational structure and design, and this is an exciting discipline when you know how to diagnose and also create a very effective organization design. Total quality management and quality assurance. I was trained in TQM, total quality management, for years, and I also teach operations, and I can assure you that it's an exciting field for everybody. Quality management is operational management. Any operational managers over here will probably agree with that, right? That quality management is key. The more you know about it, and it is going to be essential. And of course, this is very industry specific. Certifications, accreditations, norms. Always be curious to know what is out there that you may or may not know. I was an ISO or ISO 9000 auditor, and now we have more stuff, which is absolutely incredible. That is not just influencing industry, but also manufacturing, but also services, and your services, many of you. And ISO 14,000, 26,000, all these new norms have to do with ecosystems, running green businesses, green buildings, and 26,000 series is even better because it has to do with sustainability, like that, to run a sustainable organization regardless of what you do. So those are the new things, and you have to be very much in tune with what is out there. And of course, human resource management. I also have taught for years HRM. And these are the traditional areas of human resource management that you should know. Recruiting and selection, these are pretty specialized. And some of them might be part of future offerings in these brown bag lunches. Recruiting and selection, training and development, payroll, compensation of benefits, this is traditional. Appraisal, assessment and separation, HRM planning and strategy, and finally, leadership development. Make sense? Many of you probably have a lot of familiarity with these things. Next, please. That was good. We're making a great team. Now, this is exciting, leading. We just launched a master's in management and leadership. There's a tremendous interest in the market to promote leadership training and leadership knowledge. You're going to see that a lot of new graduate programs are about leadership development. And organizations like yours and many of your organizations in general have already in place a leadership development program for sure. So what is in it? It is theories and models of how to motivate people, right? Because we discovered in the 1930s that actually people who are happy are more productive. I know it was shocking in the 1930s, but it actually happened. So how to motivate people is key. Performance, how as a leader you can actually measure success. Make sense? As an engineer, I was always told we cannot manage something that we cannot measure. Voila, you know that. You know that more than I do. Then leadership development. Sometimes we think that leaders are born that way, maybe charismatic type of leadership, but there are many other kinds of leadership. Make sense? So leadership development has to be in place for absolutely everybody. I can assure you, and I'm sure we can all relate to that, that we are always leading someone. Make sense? Right? At home, right? In our organizations, our churches, everywhere. We are leading people. So we should be better leaders. How to lead groups is slightly different. Team functioning. Mentoring and coaching, and the difference between the two. How to becoming a mentor, right? It is a very interesting program. Having mentoring programs everywhere is a really good thing. And of course, the difference between leadership and management that we can perhaps elaborate a little bit more during our Q&A section. This is a big discussion that leaders are different from managers. A good manager should be a leader, or maybe a leader should be a good manager. And so what's the difference? I just reserved these for us to perhaps discuss a little bit more during our Q&A section. Next. Wow, planning. Good. Timing. Planning. This one, coming from an engineer background, I noticed that not all MBAs, ours does, but not all MBAs have, and training programs include this as part of a management training exercise. Makes sense? However, don't we need to plan all the time? Have we ever thought about planning and scheduling? It's rare, right? As an engineer, I was taught a lot. So as a young engineer, I remember making a lot of money training business people in planning. And then I realized if I teach engineers management, I could even make more money. And it worked. That's how I paid my doctorate. So it's kind of interesting because this is absolutely essential. And it's not that difficult. It's not that quantitative, right? People get concerned, planning, how to know how to plan. Decision-making models, theories, strategic planning exercises, and now precisely teaching a class in strategic planning to a senior class. I'm telling my students, this is something that you're going to be asked all the time to do, a strategic planning exercise. So you better pay attention to, right? Because you need to know this. This is not optional. We need to know how to do a strategic planning. How to conduct a competitive advantage analysis. Organization design for planning, because you have to create an organization that's going to be able to plan ahead, if you will. It has to be part of the way how you run your own organization or your own business. It has to be embedded in the way that you run every single function. Then processes and procedures, coming from a total quality management background, I am absolutely a strong advocate that we do not manage functions. We don't really manage people. We manage what? Processes. So we should organize, and I have done this consulting many years. When you reorganize everything under processes, what are you going to have? Many people involved in each process. That's exactly how you should measure. And I have been in a multinational company that we actually did that. Also, how we run our appraisal system. Make sense? If you own or you are part of a team of a process, if that process is saving money, and if that process is making more money, shouldn't you be appraised for the process? It's really cool. When you get into that TQM mentality, there is a tremendous incentive to improve your own process. But you need what else? Empowerment and a very good training. Make sense? And it's actually possible. And finally, my favorite topic, project management training and skill set. I'm going to present to you in a minute. Coming from a project management background, I bet all of you have been asked to manage a project, right? Maybe under your functions is, or have the title of a project manager, right? So what is it? And thank you. That was kind of slow. I'm glad that we're not being filmed. Voila. And for years, I actually taught and developed project management modules as a consultant, also as a teacher, creating a project management concentration that in a previous job became the most popular program in the MBA within a year. Why? Because everybody realized that we are all, in essence, project managers, right? But we have never been trained in project management. So what is it? It is planning and scheduling, all the methods of planning and scheduling, cost analysis and control, and there are methods how to do that, right? What else? Allocation of resources. Again, there are a series of techniques that is going to actually supplement the way how you allocate resources and also the way how you do planning. Now, planning is about what? Time management. Scheduling is about what? Resource management. See the difference? But you should know how to do both. And the exciting topic of risk analysis is part of it, right? And then something that I always develop every time that I do project management training, a project evaluation type of study. Why? Feasibility study. When we try to decide which alternative is better, in most instances, we tend to make decisions based on what? Expenses, the budget, the cost, right? Which one is cheaper, more efficient? Have we ever done a feasibility study? What is that? It is a long-term study, including benefits, ROI, return on investment, all that stuff. And I did this for a living during my younger years, and it's absolutely incredible when you have different alternatives. But when you bring the benefits, long-term benefits, and depend upon the horizon of the study, that can change dramatically, right? You're going to have a whole entire view of what you're supposed to be doing, determining what is the best option. Make sense? It changes things dramatically. So that's what it's called project evaluation. There are many techniques coming from engineering economics. There's a whole entire field called engineering economics that is part of project management. And on another of my favorite topics, operations management. You should know things about layout analysis, how to operate, how to administer processes, and OM is becoming a very popular area in business. We have a concentration in supply chain operations in our adult degree program at night and online. And it is very popular, very, very popular. These are undergraduate, but these are people coming back realizing, oops, I need that. I need operations management. Right? And then I had it when I was in college. And controlling, that was good. Controlling the key performance indicators. Now, again, this is the other part of management that sometimes is missing. Do we have a very clear understanding of what are our key performance indicators? The difference between financial and fiscal ratios. This is different. Fiscal is obviously a type of reporting that you use for tax purposes. It's required. Both are the same reporting, but it's the use that is different. A financial study is more towards a feasibility study, with tax or without taxes, really. Depends on the type of the scenario. So that's an interesting study when you do both. What are the indicators of success for human resource management? Assessment in general, review and improvement, and finally, another very exciting field that I would always suggest everybody to learn and explore. It is change management. You like this? Change management? How to manage change? We should get this in high school. Right? Every single human being shouldn't graduate from high school without learning how to manage change, including my own son. Right? I hope he's not going to watch this video. Make sense? Change management. We're dealing with change all the time, right? We have to mentor others going through change, right? How are we going to incorporate new ideas or new projects if we don't know that? So this is in summary, really quick for us to have enough time to talk. What are the skill sets of change management? What is it? Communication, communication, communication. How to communicate. I remember having lunches like this and breakfast like this in my previous job in advisory boards, and always asking business leaders, what would you like us to teach to our graduates? And I remember always getting the same response. 3 things: communication, communication, and communication, right? We need people who know how to communicate. We need people how to write, right? We need people how to what? Present things, even when technology is not cooperating. We need people how to communicate, right? And that is key. So for change management, to learn and practice effective communication skills is very, very, very important. Very, very important. How to manage conflict, right? And there are techniques in conflict management. That's an exciting topic, conflict management, that by itself. Negotiation, right? And this, of course, this is internal. Negotiation is more external, right? How are you going to negotiate things? Even if you are negotiating things with your fellow workers and employees, negotiating things with another department, right? That can really, really help you going through any possible areas of conflict. Understanding the behavioral part of management is another very interesting topic. I was fascinated as an engineer being trained in management when I took a class called Applied Psychology. Wow, this is cool. I'm not going back to be an engineer. I really love people. I love this stuff. Applied psychology was absolutely exciting. And it has to do with organizational behavior, right? How people behave. And obviously, and you have heard, I'm sure, this before, emotional intelligence, right? There was a book. I always recommend my students to read 2 books, actually 3. One is the Bible. And the other 2 that are essential to be a good manager are Out of Crisis by Edward Deming, who published in the US in 1983. What he had done all his life since 1948, Deming transformed Japan, one American, one guy, one person, creating quality management. The whole Asian continent embraced him, and he changed the world. Edward Deming, the 14 points of Deming is just absolutely incredible. Very humble guy, never brag about anything. So Out of Crisis was his contribution to the Western world. We didn't pay attention too much when he was still alive. But that book, Out of Crisis, 1983, is absolutely incredible. The other one is Emotional Intelligence, the book, not the articles. Later on, they published several articles applied in business, Harvard Business Review, but the original book in 1990 something, 92 I think, the original book written by non-business people, psychologists or psychiatrists, I can't remember. I remember big things, not all these anyway, the details. But these 2, they actually presented how humans react towards emotions for the first time. That good leaders are the ones who can read emotions, right? Naturally, make sense? So you will be able to adapt, react, help, mentor, coach, right? Where you are sensing that you're losing, someone or the audience, you can what? You can, and then you immediately try to do something different. Make sense? So that means that you are what? In tune with emotions of people and your own, and also your own red flags. I did that in one of my classes, and my students, these are the younger ones, not the masters. Please write your red flags, right? The things that will really, really bother you. Don't show it to anybody. So it was interesting to see all these young men and women just writing somewhere, just a few other words, filling out pages. I said, wow. And then I told them, read them. Just reflect for a few minutes. And after that, what? Destroy them. Right? And a lot of smiles. And we did pray at the end, so that helped. And so, short story, but wouldn't you like to know exactly what your red flags are? That's an interesting exercise. Because you have to be aware of them. And also, maybe you can change, maybe you cannot change them. But at least you will be aware of them. Make sense? And also, it's very interesting to know the red flags of your team members. Right? Right? Why not? So all that is coming from the exciting world of managing people. And emotional intelligence is part of it. And it has to do with managing change. All right, my promise, 20 minutes. A round of applause for that was a cold lecture. You didn't know that at the beginning. All right, very well. Questions, comments? Anybody?
Roy, you talked about those 4 areas. What's the area for a new manager that's going to have to be the most intentional? Because I think that you acquire a lot of those skills with time, learning from other people. What's the one, if you can narrow down to one, that you have to actually work on to acquire the skill? Good.
Yeah, you're right. There are things that you can get. Think of it this way. You can get short-term benefits quickly, right? And the other will be like an ongoing, like TQM, right? Quality management is an ongoing, long-term, something that you can actually get quick results, in my experience, has been project management, right? Because people don't know how to plan, period. I remember presenting in my industrial years a Gantt chart and a little CPM in a meeting, right? And people say, wow, that's so cool. What is it? And I said, I don't know. You didn't know? I said, no. I said, well, it's just there. The whole planning is just done. And it took, 5 minutes? Right? It's done. I mean, it was very visual, right? And they said, I want to know that. Could you teach us? And immediately, the managerial skills just improved within 24 hours. Now I know how to plan. So quantitative skills have a tendency to get results quickly. And then the soft sides, you can build upon all the things at the same time, right? Make sense? That is going to give you that long-term breadth and depth of management. Yeah.
Well, can you permit me to do something with them?
Oh, please,
okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Jamie, can I get you to go back to the first slide? Because Raul and I really would like for you guys to take something away from this and to reflect on yourselves. So would you all be on this journey with us? If that's okay, it will take a very, very quick moment. The first thing with staffing an organization's first slide.
This one or
The next one. All right. If everyone were to look at this and then examine yourselves in terms of where would you like to develop in this? What would you like to know more of and find out about? Because this is about your personal development, okay? So I'm going to time 75 seconds. And then we're going to move on to the next slide, and you can do that too, all right? 75 seconds starting now. Identify your areas of strength where you feel like you have some gifting and some knowledge and abilities. And then those where you think, you know what, I could improve on this area. So another 37 seconds left. you're done, look at Dr. Chavez, all right? Nice looking, professional. If you're not done, just keep doing it. All right, looks like you're all done. Next slide. All right, over here, before you go into identifying what areas you are, you would like to improve on, I would like to ask you to do one thing. Name for yourself what motivates you at work. And this will be different for everyone, okay? So briefly, identify what motivates you at work. Money, feedback, lunches, BMW. That motivates me, by the way, if anyone wants to know. Just kidding. Write it down. What motivates you? Okay, if you've got some answers now, I want you to all to talk and at the tables. Share what motivates you. Very quickly, you have 2.15 seconds to do that.
Doing a good job. I just care about what you put together. Doing a good job. I just think when frontline when frontline staff, I mean, just get it, like they make the connection of why. I mean, because there's so much behind why we do what we do, and it's not just because there's right. Well, or there's somebody saying we have to do this. It really is the best thing for the
What motivates me is the successful results. When they smile.
I mean, I'm still at United Way. I just I do research.
So what motivates this table?
What motivates me? That's
Making a difference.
is that what that is?
All right. Very quickly, what are some of the answers that you have found out? Anybody? What motivates you? This table. Anybody? Challenging projects. So you like challenges. And what about over the back there? Marianne's table.
Staff development when the light bulb goes off.
So you get excited.
Yes.
You get motivated when,
Yes.
when the people you
When
lead
the people
get you.
get it,
Okay.
it's like the light bulb goes off and they've got it.
I like light bulbs. Do you like light bulbs too? Me too. By the way, I just, someone said, can you please introduce yourself? I'm sorry, I just jumped in. This is my beloved colleague and Dr. Chavez. I'm his sidekick. My name is Jeannie Trudell, and I'm from the School of Business at Southern Wesleyan University. And my background was in training and development, so I get very excited about stuff like that, and we work together as a great team. So from this table where, Gail? That's a Gail there. I just pull it out of the hat. Go ahead.
Staff development, watching them grow. Every day they say, I gotta give my Tobitos, I'm moving on.
So investment in people, how many of you like that? Is it watching people grow, that turns you on? That's a hallmark of a good leader and a good manager. So this is really exciting. All right, now can you now go through on your own where you think you would like to develop for yourself and where your strengths are, okay? So you have 1.27 seconds for this one. Yeah, it might have to be 1.27 minutes, thank you.
I just started singing Nora.
Okay, does everyone have some answers to that? You know, Dr. Chavez is in charge of our Masters of Management and Leadership, and he's very often told me how important it is to develop both management and leadership capabilities, right, Dr. Chavez? So let me ask you to do this at your table, and where there are too many people, you know what, Dr. Helmrich, I think you should join another table and take 2 other people with you so that we can balance it a little bit. I'm leading now. I'm practicing leading and we're managing. So if you don't mind, 3 other people from that group can join another group because I have an exercise for you. Okay? If you can talk at your tables, what are the differences between leadership and management? Why they are important in your organizations? Okay? So, at your table, discuss this question. What are the differences between leaders and managers? And why are both important to your organizations where you are? Got it? You will have, how many minutes shall we give them this time?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Wow, this is a speed round, only 2 minutes, so go for it now.
This is leaders act like
That make those leaders.
But I think
Enjoy spatial.
I look at leadership
still requires
guidance, managers, the operations.
I think we have to be, and I'm going up with you, maybe you're thinking different, but like, I think we have managers are leaders and managers aren't. Like, you can be a great leader, because you can manage a process all day long, but not be a leader to others. And when I think of leaders, I think of what are you doing to take your staff to the next level.
Right.
And I think
You're
leadership, I think
investing
it
time
has
in
more
it.
heart value.
I was thinking about leaders, where's the hard guy stop?
Let me know when you're figuring that out.
Because I'm all hard. I'm very I don't care, but I got the heart of it.
Yeah, I think that's something.
Sometimes, and other times it makes me that makes me
All right, folks. We said that we're going to go back. Remember, that wasn't right. We're going to go back to leadership versus management doing our Q&A. So I'm just going to go around.
No, excuse me, your 2 minutes is up, and Dr. Chavez Raul is trying to get your attention. So wow, I've got a runaway train here. So please.
All right. Thoughts? Anyone? Any table? On your list? What, is there any difference, or maybe there is? Any? What do you think? Anyone?
My thoughts are, everyone's a leader in some form or fashion.
Okay.
And just because you're a good leader, that's me controlling my actions and exhibiting the behaviors. That's me. That's all me. But management is getting the folks that work for me to either exhibit the same behaviors or basically get the job done, whatever I need for them to do. They're cheerleaders. Just because someone's a good leader doesn't mean they're a manager, and they can't necessarily get others to perform the same.
You like it?
performance
Pretty
on
cool. Any other thoughts? Someone from this table? You made eye contact. That to me is a go. I always have my sweet. Oh, who made eye contact? You made eye contact. You,
So I just had an analogy.
John.
Leader looks through and beyond the current problems, whereas
Okay.
manager just goes from problem to problem.
Oh, interesting, huh? I like that.
The leader has the
May
vision.
quote you, John. What?
The leader has a vision.
Oh, vision.
You manage your team to reach that vision.
I like that. That was pretty cool too. Any other thoughts? That table? Anyone?
That's exactly what we were going to
Exactly.
say.
Any other thoughts? That kind of makes sense, right? Now, we have a master's in leadership, but also in management. And one of the reasons why, unlike all the masters in leadership, we embedded management in it. But we do have a very strong belief the leaders need to know management. Right? Yeah, it's pretty much like that. Managers tend to what? Run the daily operations, right? Leaders will see the longer goals, inspire people. However, I always suggest managers that if they really want to inspire people and be effective, they also have to learn how to be good leaders. So it seems that there are differences, but you're going to need both, right? You need to have both, right? Because you can inspire people, but guess what? You don't know. People are going to sense that, and then you lose respect. Make sense? It's enough of inspiration and need some coaching here, some guidelines, right? And you just don't know. So, both goes hand by hand. But you can be stronger, right, in certain areas. That's good. In change management, we always say we're going to need a charismatic leader, just to inspire right away. That's pure leadership, right? Very good. Now,
I've got a question for them. Now, based on what
Tara,
we
your turn.
discussed, yeah, team teaching, we enjoy doing that. Based on your definitions of what's a leader and what's a manager, based on what's been discussed, can you each rate yourself on a scale as a leader, 1 being weak and 5 being very strong on leadership? Rate yourself so that you can assess yourself. Again, this is related to what Raul said earlier about emotional intelligence. If you don't know yourself, how do you know the people you lead? So as a leader, and this is just a developmental function, we are not going to stay stuck at 1 or 5 because it is dynamic, okay? Do that very quickly. And then do the same in terms of your perceptions as a manager. How effective are you on a scale of 1 to 5? 5 being fantastic and 1 being, wow, needs a lot of development. Okay? This shouldn't take very long. 0.37 seconds.
don't destroy the notes.
Yeah. No, the red flags, you shouldn't send them out. Okay, now I'm going to ask you to do something a little more difficult. On a scale of 1 to 5, can you rate your immediate supervisor? And this you cannot share with anyone. Except George, apparently. Oh, I'm putting you on the spot on time.
No, this is awesome information. We'll just drop their sheets of paper on the way out.
Okay, now the thing is, Raul gave you some ideas about where you need to look at in terms of yourself, what you're strong in, what you're weak in. Okay, I was just kidding about rating a supervisor right now.
Yeah, we don't want this to be the first and last.
Yeah.
Okay, like round back lunch.
I had to poke fun at you, George. All right, can you go back, Jane, please, to the, we went to leading, we go to planning. All right. Now, I'm not going to go through every single slide and get you to rate yourself, okay? But I want you guys to think through some of the things that you're doing. So this is your own work. By yourself, because you make decisions, right? Can you jot down some notes about how you make decisions? In your personal life, in one column, and the second column at work. So for instance, if you have to make a big purchase, how do you make that decision in your personal life? Who do you consult with? What information do you need? What's the process? Or do you just go into the store and say, ooh, that looks good, I need all of that. So you guys decide, okay? And then in the workplace, how do you make decisions in the workplace? So very quickly jot down some notes. And then you guys, again, discuss in your groups about how you make those decisions, and the pattern will emerge. Sometimes work and personal life very different. Sometimes they're the same. So very quickly do that. You will have, I think we can give you 3.13 minutes on this one. So go. And this is your last exercise if we want to come back.
really quiet about it. I saw them getting on the elevator. I didn't get a group picture. No, that's why I told them, I said, what are we doing the first? And I said, that's what you should do tomorrow. Just a little excited. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do.
Yeah. Remember Oh my God. They play that at home.
I'll get to have it. So I'll get last. I didn't bump it right now.
Do you have Yeah, we're going to need to practice. See, they're doing it different. How are you? That's it.
All right. Come on back, everyone. I know that this is a very short time frame, and you could talk for a little bit more. I love it because you guys are all engaged, and that's delightful to our hearts when we facilitate sessions like these. So I won't ask you how you make your decisions. If you can go back, when you go back, have a look at what Raul has presented and look at where it is that you as a manager and leader need some development, where your strengths are, where you can develop your strengths, where you might need some help. And then as we go through this series, you will get some of the tools that you need in order to improve in these functional areas. That's the aim of these sessions. As a final goodbye, can we just very quickly, if anyone is willing to share, what is one key takeaway that you get from today's session? Very quickly. Brave souls, that would be very encouraging to your table and to us. So, anyone? If you don't put your hand up, I'm going to have to call you. I'm sorry. That's my job.
Don't make eye contact.
Yes.
The importance of understanding change management.
Yes. Our change management expert was saying amen, right, Rob? Thank you, Bob. Change management. Anybody else?
You mentioned the theory on motivation. You ever thought about it? Having a theory of what it takes to motivate someone.
Yes, it is both a theory and in real life it's very useful to know. Thank you. I appreciate it. Other tables?
I think managing the process versus the people was strong for me.
Management process versus people? Excellent. Thank you. Anybody else?
Understanding of emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence. Wonderful. And last comment, anybody? I'm going to call on George.
Yes. Management skills are intentional and not accidental.
Yes.
Right.
It can be developed. I'm actually going to ask my new friend Mike over there, who puts people to sleep and in dreamland. Any takeaways, Mike?
I'm still digesting.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Well, on behalf of
Wake them back up.
So, Cindy, can you stand up? George, Raul, thank you all so much. These are your leaders who made this happen today. So thank you. Apparently you can be dismissed, but drink along the way and tell George.